Well, good morning, beautiful souls, and welcome to Bali Abode. We're talking about a crystal today called Phosphosiderite. I really struggle with names of crystals these days. I call this beautiful crystal Love Beauty, and I always have done. I call it my little love beauty, and I always have from many years ago when working with it. I had a nice chunk of this, and it always used to stay with me with regards to helping young children and animals. It always worked. I always used to put a chunk into a little child's hand if they were going through emotional pain because their parents had split up. A child would hold that crystal and feel better for it. So I could feel a calming energy with this crystal. Many other psychics that I've met and healers and crystal healers talk about many different forms of energy within this crystal, each to their own. Some people talk about past life, that you can really regress and feel the energy of past life. Me, never really attuned to that with this crystal, but many people say they've been successful with it, each to their own. And I love that. The diversity of a crystal, depending on who's holding it, is a beautiful thing for me. And that's the beauty, and that's the whole point about when you learn about crystals. You really realize that, you know, to a degree, books don't really help that much, because when you hold it, it's going to really activate something completely different than the other person that wrote the book and felt the power of that crystal. With me, it's a little bit different, I think, because I've worked with thousands of people and placed certain crystals on them, and there is proof that certain crystals do help with certain things, but not always. So don't always bank on that, guys. So I think be open to crystals is a beautiful thing. Be open to the wonder of how a crystal can help heal you and become the greatest teacher in the world by experience. Don't just read, hold a crystal, feel it, and then write down what you experience through that crystal. And that then takes you to another level. You become a master crystal worker, healer. So let me show you this crystal. Okay, I have one in my hand here. Cabochon, but if you look at the back, you can see in its natural. Isn't that beautiful? And it is a beautiful crystal. When you hold it, you can feel the not only calmness of it, but you can feel the warmth. And any issue of emotional suffering within your body, it targets that instantly. Last night I had really horrible dream, you know, them vivid dreams, and it was I think it was about my brother who was chasing me, you know, and you know, like it was really awful. It was a horrible dream. And I think when you start to look at dreams, there is something in that. But what I'm saying is, when you feel that energy and then you wake up feeling that pain, that shock, that suffering, even if you haven't had the dream, but let's say you've gone through an experience with somebody giving you a challenge and you feel it in your stomach, I think this crystal is great to target, not just the stomach though, but it also heals the heart, it heals the mind. So calmness comes through this crystal. It certainly helps eliminate and just gently take away the process of the suffering, the pain, the blocks that is within you. Have another look. It's beauty, isn't it? Is that beautiful? Yeah. One of the other things that I found fascinating with this crystal is I used to put them into, I don't know if you remember these, I don't think they still make them anymore, but they're like a shape of, it's basically, it's not silver, it's like some sort of metal, and it spirals, and if you open the spiral, you can put a crystal in and then wear it around your neck. They were a great idea. It's a shame people didn't make them in solid silver. That would have been even better. But yeah, they came from I think China, and they weren't very good for the skin because they'd react against your skin. That's why I got rid of them very quickly, because my clients were saying these aren't very good, and I'm saying that the concept of that is great, to then just put whatever crystal you want in. So maybe there's something in that I should be looking at and doing myself. But yeah, I remember recalling a time. I think the best way to explain this, how do I explain this right? Yeah, so I got a bunch of these little crystals from one big piece. So I think what happened was, when I saw them on the stand in Germany, I think they dropped a big chunk, and what they decided to do is break up the pieces And of course I was drawn to the energy of all the pieces, so I basically bought all the pieces and worked with them for a while, and noticed that I was always using them on children who were going through traumatic stress. I'm talking children from the age of 5 up till 13, 14, 15, even 18. And I would always gift them a piece when they were going through challenging experiences. You know the kind of challenges. Let me just think of one. Okay, a little girl called Betty. Her mum and dad were constantly fighting. They loved each other but constantly fought, and it was regarding anyway, it doesn't matter what it was regarding, but it was something which was affecting their relationship very badly. That energy entered into the little girl and caused her anxiety, panic attacks, and then of course sleepless nights, and then of course nightmares and night terrors, which I had a lot of children coming to me with night terrors, and there's always a reason for it, whether that's bullying at school, whether it's the parents being hateful to one another, whether it's the brother feeling pain, or whatever it is they're going through. So I would always put a piece on their heart or somewhere on their stomach, and then gift them that after the healing session, and it would always make a massive, tremendous difference. Now that too, I used to be an animal healer too, so I used to have a lot of doggies coming, and I always used to work on animals and always used to gift a little piece of that. So I'd hang it around their neck in one of these little things and put a piece in, and it would work magic. It really, really worked. So getting back to this beautiful piece, what does it do? It definitely eliminates fear. It definitely eliminates stress. It definitely helps with animals. It helps with children tremendously. It helps with anybody who's going through any anxiety, any issues, pain, suffering. How does it help on the emotional and make you feel stronger? Well, it brings back love, it brings back confidence, it brings back a new sense of relief in your whole body. It helps you in a balanced way feel calmer, feel more rejuvenated. It helps you feel stronger and brings back the old you, the you that was strong and happy. And like I said, it clears a lot of the stomach. So again, physically, if you suffer with stomach, IBS, irritable bowel syndrome, any kind of gluten intolerance, anything like that, where you have bad stomachs, this is a great crystal to hang around your stomach. Not predominantly around here if you're aiming for the physical in your stomach. Hang it down so it's low down here. Let it do its work on its own. Holding it every now and again when you're going through a fearful moment is a great thing, because it eliminates, it absorbs, it clears, it blasts, all of those things. It's not just one thing it does all of them. And it really makes a difference for that. Another good thing about this crystal is placing it on the temples or the third eye, helping clearing and cleansing and rebalancing in many different ways up here. Also great for psychic work. Again, I didn't really feel the past life regression too much, so I can't really comment on that, but maybe you can look on other channels and see what other people say about it, and see if they're willing to explain how that works, because I think it's good to explain how to attune to that. It's all right buying the crystal, but what do you do next? I think a lot of you have bought crystals from my website. I think what I'm going to start doing now that I'm speaking like this and it feels right, the right moment, let's start and go a little bit beyond the crystal and what it does. Let's start now to work with the crystal. So I'm going to start looking at your messages below, and I'm going to read them, and whichever feels right, I'm going to do a video on that. So what I'm going to ask you to do is, like you've probably said this before and thought it, now I've got the crystal, how do I help activate myself to that crystal? Now a lot of crystals do the work on their own, but a lot of crystals, there are little tricks. You can place the crystal certain places, like I said with this, on the stomach, on the third eye, and then we can talk about how to go through the procedure of helping you become more attuned to your crystal. So let's start doing that, shall we? Let's move up a notch, and let's start going into more depth into crystals and how we can work with them and what we can do to charge, energize, and help activate them to activate our healing process and psychic abilities. I'm willing to do that if you're willing to, send a little message of what crystal you have, and is there anything that we can work with this crystal, do with this crystal to help attune more. I'm going to look at the messages and maybe let's start to progress from the crystal, because I think I've done a lot of talking about crystals, but maybe we're not doing as much work which we should be doing now. So that's it really. To recap on this crystal, brings comfort, brings a lot of love. This is my little love beauty crystal. Calmness, elevates you to a new level of feeling joy and happiness. Relax. It's a relaxing crystal as well. I think if you place it in the room, if you've got an angry partner or your family member is angry, place it in the room somewhere, let it do its work. It will cleanse that room and bring that vibration into the room to help calm everybody down in that room too. I would suggest that with most crystals too. So whatever crystal you have, what you know it does, I suggest you place it in certain rooms if you feel it can counteract any negativity of one thing or another. If you want to bring more heightened awareness in a room, then you would take a Moldavite and place it in the room, and so on. This crystal, if you find that somebody's feeling upset and pain and maybe they don't want to talk about it, place it in the room, and it will make the difference to that person as well as yourself. Anything else with this crystal? Let me think. I think one of the most beneficial memories to me is, I think I've already repeated this, it will target places where the blocks are, where your emotional and negative blocks, the fear blocks, the worry blocks, and things that cause us suffering and pain in a physical and an emotional self. So this is a real worker, it's a real working crystal, and it's amazing. With animals, it doesn't take long before this crystal really works. So if you're going to ask me how long do you keep it on the animal, you don't need to have it on that long per day. Some people like to leave them on all day. I don't think it's that necessary. Is it damaging? Does a crystal damage you if you leave it on too long? No, it doesn't. But I don't think you need something on all day. And I think it's like anything. If you keep using something all the time, you get so used to it, and then that energy sort of becomes part of you, and you don't feel the benefit as much as when. See, for me, a crystal does its job and then I put it away. That's why a lot of the times you won't see me wear a crystal only when I know I need a crystal for a certain thing, and then I'll put it on, and then I'll wear it, and then I'll take it off when it's done its job. So it's always like my energy is, it's almost like I've got a set of tools and I use them when they're necessary, and then when my body's aligned, I leave the crystals alone. Does that make sense? A lot of people wear tons of crystals all the time. I think it's nice, I think it's wonderful, and I think it's always heightening your energy, but I always like to leave them and let my own body energy work in its own accordance, and then when I need a helping hand, I'll put one on to help me feel stronger and better. If I'm wanting to attune to spirit, I'll put one on and it'll make me feel better and stronger, and then I'll do the work and then I'll take it off again. So depending on how I'm feeling, if I'm having a crappy day, and I'll keep the crystal on as long as I need it on. So sometimes I might wear Moldavite, my God, I put a piece of Moldavite on once, and I don't even think I took it off for, I don't know, God knows how many months, because I was so in the awe of Moldavite, and every day I was feeling and experiencing new things because it was clearing my blocks and my worries and my fears of my past life. It was really heightening my energy in many different ways, good, bad, happy, sad, many different feelings were happening on day-to-day level. But for a crystal like this, I think, if you're feeling, if your child's feeling bad, put it on them. When that energy disappears and they feel better again, then take it off, and then always know that you've got a beautiful, lovely crystal ready and waiting as part of your healing tools, as you would do anything else you would use to help a child if they've fallen and bang their knee. You would go to your cabinet and get natural oils and rub them on there to heal them, but you wouldn't be rubbing that oil every day on them after they've healed, right? Well, that's kind of like how I feel with crystals, but some would disagree. Some would say that, you know, I like to wear my crystal because it always keeps my energy high. Absolutely, I'm not saying don't do that. I'm just saying that it's good to give yourself a rest like I do, and then when I put one on, boom. Okay guys, it's a lovely day here. I'm going to crack on with my book, The Diary of an Accidental Psychic Part 2, which I haven't got a title for that yet, but the argument there is that I'm no longer an accidental psychic. When I first wrote it, it was an accident, so that was appropriate to the book. So now we're going to move on from I'm no longer an accident, it's part of my life for the past 16 years, so that doesn't kind of work for part 2 anymore, because a few people have mentioned it to me and they're absolutely right. So I'm going to try and come up with a name. You know, there's been some mentions of a couple of great ideas, names like the life and journey of an accidental psychic, and you know, a few other mentions, but I'm not sure yet. Maybe you can help a little bit. Okay, I'm going to send a few crystals off as a gift, as usual. Sonia will do that. She'll look at this video today. Today the word is yellow. Why? Because it's the most powerful color in the world. The next video I'm going to talk about, I'm going to explain to you via the amazing Don Tolman, who shared something with all of us at the Rewake retreat. So I'm going to share a little bit of information, and that's about climate change. Maybe it might just help settle you all to the understanding of what it means and all the other things that we are a little bit confused about, you know, because there's so much confusion with that at the moment. Really, there is, and a lot of people fighting, and I'm going to hopefully try and explain it to you and then explain everything else, so it might settle you down and make you feel a bit better and not fear too much about the whole issue. But then we still have to be aware of the environmental issue as well. 2 different subjects, but I will talk about that on the next video. And the colour yellow is a beautiful colour. Remember, if you wear yellow or put yellow around your 5G meters, smart meters, it will make a massive difference. Okay guys, from my heart to yours, have a great day. Information is sometimes a beautiful thing, especially with crystals. Have a great day. I hope you enjoy it. I think I've got a few on my website which I've worked on. They're slightly more money than normal crystals that you would buy from your shop, but that's because I've worked on them personally. I think there's a few on there. So yeah, either go to my website, have a look, feel, or go to your local store and ask them to buy a beautiful piece for you, and then enjoy your journey with it. Take care guys. Thank you for going to Bajerski.com. Thank you for being here today in the very beautiful Bali Ubud. My eyes have been a bit closed, but I'd rather now start to work without sunglasses and really work on my eyes and make them stronger, because like Don Tolman said, sunglasses are no good for your eyes. Have a great day guys.